Hello everyone, welcome to another Transformers review. Now, as you can see, I'm doing a review of a slightly tatty looking box of a G1 Pretender. This is submarauder, obviously a Decepticon, because he's more of a monster rather than being a large sort of humanoid Pretender. Now, these came out in the later end of the 80s, I think it was about 88, 89 from memory. Not the greatest of Transformer figures, to be said, but a slight offshoot of a sideline of the G1 era. Now, I'll give you a quick 360 of the box. As you can see, it's a little bit tatty, not quite as nice as some of my original ones, but still pretty good. I'll bring these tech specs, and if I can hold them still enough, you'll be able to pause that and read all about him rather than listen to me waffle on telling you. So yeah, pretty standard G1 artwork. Now, as with all of these, they came packaged in a bubble. Now, stick the box down there out of the way and get the guy out of here. Now, we've got a few accessories. The main figure itself. Now, this does have one fault, that one of the clips for the belt is broken, which is a little bit of a sort of surprise to me, because unlike some of the others, you don't actually have to take the belt off to do the transformation, so I'm not quite sure how the clip ended up getting broken on this guy. Now, as you can see, he's a pretty colourful sea monster, slight sort of reminiscent of a shark fin on the top of his head. I think these guys only really made much of an appearance in the later Takara cartoons. He never actually got into the westernised G1 cartoons, which is a shame. I think they would have been a bit of fun to actually have had in the more well-known cartoons, which have been dubbed for the US market and obviously then European market as well. Yeah, a little bit odd. As with all Pretender shells, they split up the middle to allow the robot to go inside. I won't bother doing that because, to be quite honest, it's not exactly that exciting to show you. Now, it does come with some accessories. Now, the first is a sort of quite bright pink shield. Now, I'm not entirely sure. I think it does fit in. Yeah, there is a hole on his shoulder which it can fit on there, like so. And of course, it can hold it as well, so it can become a proper shield that you can use in combat. And not always with these Pretenders did you get a couple of weapons, but with him you do get a slightly bent pink sword, misses, and with a little bit of mucking around you can get it into his hand, so he's actually got a proper weapon. So kind of gladiatorial, but yeah, not bad. Kind of fits in with the monster character. Now, the actual part of submarauder, which is actually the transformer, is of course the robot on the inside. I'll just bring the camera down a little bit. Pretty basic transformer, let's be honest. He does have a weapon which again doubles up in both modes. Now, in this mode you've got a small pin on these weapons to fit the robot hands, which you do have to be a bit careful of. Always take care putting them in and out of the fist, because those little pins do have a habit of breaking off. So of course he's got his gun, which, okay, pretty basic, pretty standard G1 stuff. As far as the robot's concerned, you've got some shoulder articulation, you've got some weird leg articulation because of the transformation, and not much else, to be honest. As far as the robot goes, he's not too bad, but he's certainly not going to give you a modern deluxe a run for its money, let's put it that way. Head sculpt, and that's yeah, not bad. They could have picked out the eyes with a little bit of colour just to add a bit more detail to him, but yeah, so-so. This is pretty much what you expect from a G1 Pretender. Now to transform him really couldn't be much simpler. You just fold the arms up like he's surrendering, flip them up like so. You can, I believe, you also turn the head over, which perhaps I should have done first. It's facing backwards. You then swing the legs round, and with all of these they sort of form a, oh no, I've actually done that wrong. I'm getting ahead of myself. The head actually stays where it was put. Some of these do swing round, some of them don't. That's what's confused me. No, so you actually turn it over, so he's now laying on his chest. Now, in this mode, he's supposed to be, I assume, some kind of submarine, something like that. So you end up with the head on the back, like so, the back of the head showing. And now with this weapon, you now peg it with the big post in the back of his head, and it becomes, I don't know, some kind of booster. If it was going to be a weapon, it's facing the wrong way, so we'll just assume it's part of the submarine transformation. There's no undercarriage or any fold out fins or anything, which you do get on some of the other Pretenders, so it's quite basic in that sense. Yeah, it's not the greatest vehicle mode either. You've got to use your bit of imagination with this one. Not Hasbro's finest hour, but they're kind of a fun little niche, as I say, niche sort of side shoot with the G1 line, and worth picking up for what they are. Certainly don't expect miracles with them. I mean, as far as the Pretender shell goes, articulation basically is the arms turn at the shoulder, and that's it. So yeah, not great, but yeah, a bit of fun, and they're not massively expensive to pick up. If you're looking for a loose one, depending on which one it is, obviously some are rarer than others, but they range from about sort of 15 quid if you're lucky to £40. Some of the more rarer ones can get past that point, such as the likes of Thunderwing and that, which obviously command higher prices unless you're lucky like Gerard, you managed to pick one up pretty damn cheaply. Whether they actually warrant those high prices is another matter, as Gerard himself has said, where he did a little review of his Thunderwing where he picked it up. I certainly wouldn't pay, well, I wouldn't pay more than 30 quid for any of them, to be honest. Only down to the rarity side of the odd one where you probably have to go higher to get one. But there's always that chance that you could pick up a bargain and maybe find, you know, yourself one at a dirt cheap price. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Submarauder. Hope you've enjoyed this little review. Not exactly the most exciting figures, I grant you, but as I say, it's part of the G1 line, so I've kind of ended up picking them up. So yeah, that's it really. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to subscribe, and if you've got any questions or just want to sort of like see a particular figure, if I haven't already done it in one of my other reviews, I mean, feel free to check those first just in case. But if there's something else, you know, feel free to ask. If I've got it, I'll dig it out and do a review when I get a chance. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you again.